We begin right here in Washington, where South Carolina Congressman Joe Wilson has stirred up a whirlwind of controversy with his bold proposal to introduce a $250 bill featuring none other than President Donald Trump. If Wilson's audacious plan gets the green light, the commander-in-chief would become the first living president to grace the U.S. currency. Wilson's proposal rides the wave of what he calls Bidenflation, a term coined by critics to blame the inflation surge on former President Joe Biden's administration. Now, taking to social media platform X, Wilson declared that he's grateful to announce the design of a $250 bill featuring President Trump, and even blamed the former president for crippling the economy and forcing American families to carry more cash. Reactions on Wilson's post erupted faster than a stock market crash, and supporters hailed the idea as both practical and patriotic. Meanwhile, critics pounced, dismissing the move as a cheap political stunt. Back in mid-2022, inflation in the United States skyrocketed to 9.1%, marking the highest spike in 4 decades. And while many point fingers at former President Biden's economic policies, including lavish government spending and pandemic stimulus measures, inflation has since cooled to 3% in 2025. But the sting of rising prices still lingers.
We live in a world in which the reality tends to be gloomy if the party that I'm not supporting is in power, and becomes rosy immediately when actually there's a change in the White House. Now, there's definitely also certainly hardship for many Americans that actually kind of been witnessed over the last couple of years. So if you look at the numbers, we've seen inflation cumulatively over the last 4 years, over 20 percentage points. So numbers many of us we hadn't seen to our lifetime.
And now, despite inflation easing, some fear that President Trump's proposed tariffs on goods from Mexico, Canada, and China could send prices soaring once again.
The Tax Policy Center has just put out an analysis suggesting that after-tax U.S. household income could fall by 1% as a result of these tariffs. That's a cost of about $1,000 to the average U.S. household. So it's not a huge hit for American households, but it is likely to make them worse off. To be honest, I think it is very hard to find any kind of economic rationale for the tariffs on Mexico and Canada. These are the US's biggest trading partners. In some sense, they're also its closest allies. And it is a little bit of a mystery what Trump is trying to achieve with these tariffs.
But with economic uncertainty swirling and fiery debates on trade policies ahead, the fate of both inflation and Wilson's proposed $250 bill hangs in the balance. Whether this bill becomes a piece of history or fades into a political footnote, one thing is certain: the controversy surrounding it is only just beginning.
Merci beaucoup. Hi. How are you?
Very well, thank you.
Thank you for being here.
Namaste, Mr. President.
Bharat Kelogan, Komeri Namaste.
How many people generally follow you in interviews?
Typically in a month, we have viewers up to 150 million. That's more than twice the population of France. And in the last 2 years, we had 3 billion viewers. So I say, Laurent, this is your chance to be famous. You're on Firstpost. One word to describe your equation with Prime Minister Modi.
Amitié.
As India and France work together, are you creating a new era of non-alignment in the technology space?
India is a training superpower. 1 million engineers a year, more than all of Europe and the US combined. So we have that partnership. We have a partnership on the environment and the economy. We also have civilian nuclear programs, and that is something we've developed far beyond the France-India relationship. So we want to work together on AI.
And then comes China with its DeepSeek, creating models at a fraction of the cost. Did that innovation take you by surprise? Did that breakthrough make you sit up and think, what did the Chinese do and how?
But what did DeepSeek do? They took everything that was already available from the last AI model, and then they recalibrated it.
So are you going to ban Chinese AI in France?
So we don't have this American approach of banning tech because of where it comes from.